All right, good morning, everybody. Let's call this meeting to order.
Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. All right. Like we like to do every week, let's kick it off with tell me something good. What good happened in your business last week? New clients, new lender relationships, new closings. Hermes, go ahead and stand up so we can see you.
This is just a miscellaneous information. I was doing research on looking for, companies. There was a company within Set Schedule. You ever heard of Set Schedule?
Oh yeah.
All right. And there were just agents wanted to sell leads for a minimum of $900, ready for leads. They pay you back $200 or so for every deal that closes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Let us know if you have any success with it.
Okay.
Dude, thank you.
All right.
Susan, you have something good. You've been doing a lot of open houses, right, in this month?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of open houses, and I was telling Johnny, I'm like, I don't think I'm being super good to share, but I have been getting a lot of leads from them, and I have some buyers. I'm just having some trouble, getting an offer accepted.
So, like, for example, from this last month, how many buyers are you currently working with?
Well, probably like 5.
5?
Yeah.
So that's a win.
Yeah.
That's the first step in getting an offer accepted. You gotta have the clients. round of applause for Susan. Anybody online have anything they want to share? Joanna, Alicia, Shane, you got a rockin' blazer, dude. Are you wearing that today? Let's turn the camera on. All right. If nothing else, then we'll move on to Krista Mayshore. That happened this week. Did it? Who? Raise your hand if you attended the event. Lexi did. Gary did. I totally thought you were Chris Okamura at first. You could be his brother. I was going to say hi to this fella. What's your name, by the way? Daniel. Nice to meet you, Daniel. Not Chris. That would have been awesome if it was Chris. Hi, Daniel. All right. So Gary had a lot of great things to say about the Krista Mayshore event. Gary, what were some key takeaways?
Probably the biggest one that I started doing is just doing video text. Is shooting a quick little video, just not selling, because she said don't sell. Just just say hi to people, let them know that hey, you're going to try to keep in contact more with people, and you haven't done it in a while, and just wanted to say hello.
Mm-hmm.
Quick little 30-second, send it to them,
and it's free.
And it's free.
There you go. Lexi, what'd you get out of it?
Oh, I was going to say the exact same thing. Video text is so big right now. Anytime I meet with anybody, I'm always talking about video text. So she totally confirmed that what I'm teaching everybody to do is actually the thing to do. Mm-hmm. So it's totally free, and because video is so big right now in social media, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or whatever, so many agents are terrified to do video of any kind. So this is kind of a nice little baby step to get into that.
Oh, that's a good point. Very good point.
Excuse me,
yeah, Hermes.
What's your name?
Lexi.
Lexi, Hermes, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Video, speaking of video, if you have like a client who lives across the state or across the country, like in Los Angeles, New York, they want to buy a property in Sacramento, but you're not able to meet with them in person for months or weeks, and you go to that property and just film how the features and everything through your iPhone, and then send the files to the said client. That would be a good sell pitch, would it?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Taking videos of properties that you're looking to sell to somebody, absolutely.
And
yeah.
just so you guys know that Krista, does what she says you should do. She sent me a personal video after the event. She sent James a personal video after the event, and Brent a personal video after the event. Just talking about thanks for helping me with this and that. And she had specific things that I had helped her with that she remembered and sent me a video. That's why she makes $2 million a month.
$2 million a month.
So yeah, she's doing it. So she did it with us. Yeah.
Do you use BombBomb or just your phone? Do you use BombBomb or just your phone?
I just use the phone. Yeah, we just started out simple.
Yeah.
There's also a
video too.
Oh man.
Alicia, queen of video.
I'm like highly addicted to videos. But I used to not want to do them at all, and then my mentor gave me an assignment to do 6 by Friday. It was like a Monday. I'm like, oh my god. And at first I filmed like 400 takes. And then I was like, I don't have time for this. So they said the secret, don't watch it. Okay, problem solved. So ever since then, I barely watch it, but now that I edit them, I watch it because I edit them, but now I have more fun with it. Once you get over yourself and you realize people actually like it when you say a lot and pick your nose and do weird things and whatever, because they're like, oh, you're human. Oh, yeah, I love that. So once you realize people actually like it when you make mistakes, then you get more comfortable.
Video queen, girl.
I love videos.
I have a buddy that all he'll do, I'll call him, he will not answer the call, and he'll FaceTime me right back.
I like FaceTime.
That's all he does. And the cool thing about FaceTime is that it's like a practice for video, right? Because you can't redo it. Like you're having the conversation with them. So maybe call your mom, call your spouse, and do some FaceTime, right? And practice your video that way. That's one way. And then the other thing is BombBomb. Sometimes, I don't know, depending on what your tech stack looks like, it may cost money. If you're looking for a free alternative, there's a thing called Loom. So Loom, loom.com, and that's another way you can send video, like emails. Freeze away. Miss Alicia, what is happening in the wonderful world of lending?
Of course, I'm always looking for ways for us to save money for the clients to offset these rate hikes, right?
Yep.
So I'm super excited to share about one option. Have any of you guys heard of Cal HFA? Most of you probably have heard of it. So typically, we lenders want to layer them because you can layer two together. And we do Zip and My Home. And we layer it, and you get about 6.5%. But of course, there's lender fees of like 2.75. Okay? So client net's about 4%, which is great, except that the rates are really high. Technically, it'll be similar to what the rates are on the going market in a sense. So mid fives, you've got points going on. This week I figured out that if I only choose My Home and that's it, just one. Yes, there's still the 2.7 points. Yes, I'm only getting 3% to cover the points, but now my rate's 4.75 with 3% down on the home. So 4.75. So basically the program My Home, which is only a 1% cost, deferred interest for 30 years, so it's a silent second, so you have no payment on it. But they basically give you the 3%, it pays your closing costs for the most part. Now all the client's worrying about is the down, and that's it. And then you have a rate of 4.75. So that substantially drops from what people are paying right now. Should be $200 to $300 a month relief off the payment. Okay. Yes, I explained. Yes, you have a tiny little second, but great news that you're going to save this much in your monthly, and over each year you break even in X amount of time. So I show them how it makes sense. But it just allows them to afford our houses, right? And keep up with the pricing. So that's option one. Really helpful. Anyone can see the rates. It's publicly posted on calhfa.org.ca.org. The second option is, and I've been waiting for this, yesterday or Tuesday, they came out with a 97% second mortgage that goes all the way up to 97% of the value of the home. We can layer this with an 80% first. Now your first mortgage has no mortgage insurance. So if the client had $150 to $300 in mortgage insurance, instead we tack on a second mortgage, and it's a HELOC, so it's revolving, so as they pay it down, the balance goes down, the payment goes down. But it's interest only required on the second. So it's another way for them to get $200 to $300 a month savings from the mortgage insurance and another $200 a month on the principal if needed. And as long as the first is getting paid down, people are comfortable, and the second they can pay it down at their leisure. It's good for people who want to qualify non-contingent and are going to pay the house off or sell the house later and want to pay it off later. You'll hear people go, well, I want to put a pool in later, but okay, well, here's an option where when they sell their house later, they can make this revolving line of credit become available for future home improvements. But the key is it's going to drop the payment, $300 to $500 a month. So that's going to offset what they just went through. Where, oh God, I got priced out of the market. So 500,000 is the equivalent of or 500 per month, is the equivalent of 100,000 in the loan amount. Big difference. So it could get people back in the game. Yeah.
That's huge.
Huge! I'm so excited.
That's huge.
So I'm gonna scream it out the rooftops.
So if you have any buyers who are like, hey, I can't put 20% down, I'm out. I can't afford it. Or if you have an investor, how does this work with investors with the second and all that?
They don't offer on a investment property. It's
Okay.
only primary and second home. It is offered on a second home, and you can go as low as a 620 credit score.
Oh, dang.
Trust me. Right now, most banks aren't doing a lot of flexibility in seconds. So when they came out with this, I was like, oh, I love you guys right now. This is going to help a lot of us, right? Big time. So up to 97%, and I did post a flyer on the Brent Gove page so you guys can kind of see some of the data that they provided. But the rates are very reasonable. Yes, they're based on prime, but it's a huge alternative to losing $100 grand purchase price, which a lot of people lost that when the rates went up 2%, 2-3%. So this can get them back in the game. So I definitely do a database video or some kind of a notification. Hey, reach out to me to find out how I can get access to 4.75 no points. That's going to trigger calls, number one. Number two, find out how you can buy and avoid mortgage insurance with as little as 3% down. Big triggers for people to go, oh man, that's just what kicked me out of qualifying, so pretty exciting stuff.
Super exciting. So we heard about we need to do video, and we just gave you something to do video on.
Topic.
Right?
Perfect.
Alicia, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, because I see a lot of new faces, what's the best way?
916-256-6486. You send a text, give me a call anytime.
And that's easy. It's that easy.
What's the number again?
916-256-6486.
And who is it from? Is it?
Alicia Sierra, that's my name.
Okay.
Yeah, cross country.
I thought your last name was Lender. I just have you in my phone.
I know,
Alicia
right?
Lender. Yeah.
I'll take it.
There you go. Rodney, do you have anything you want to add?
The market got a little bit better this week, dropped down a little bit. It's still on the upward rise. I think by the end of the year, we're going to be seeing much likely a relief. I think the relief, I've been trying to struggle with coming up with a formula to see where I think we'll be, because that's the big question. How high are we going to go before we see the rollback? And I think we're going to be just under 5% probably at the end of the year. Is likely. So, clients are trying to, figure out, should I buy now? Do I wait later? I've been pushing them to buy now and then look for the refinance later. But sometimes they're nervous on that, and there's buy down scenarios or something like Alicia was saying as well.
Sorry.
100%. So if your client, do you have any talking points if your client's looking to, I'm just going to wait till they come down? I can't, like if they start hearing that, hey, I'm going to wait till rates drop to buy.
Yeah, I have a lot of data that I'd be happy to share with anybody who has a client like that shows where interest rates have gone as well as pricing, right? Pricing hasn't softened, it's still going up. There are some, markets where it's a little bit, not as many offers, but I was able to put a deal together this week with doing exactly that, where a house in Auburn was at 798, and they were thinking about dropping it to 790. Buyer was a little shy on, he actually had cash, he was a little nervous about using as much as he wanted. So we went back to him and got an $8,000 credit, which we're using towards financing possessions and reducing his monthly payment. So market stays stable, right? That's one of the goals that I try to do, is keep the market looking stable and not seeing price reductions. And that's a great way of doing it, because the seller's gonna net the same regardless either way. So it's a win for everybody, really. And
So rather than do a price reduction, just help the buyer buy down the rate.
Correct.
I have a simple answer for what you just said.
Yeah.
No, it makes absolutely no sense to wait, and here's why. If you were trying to save 0.5% in your rate on a $400,000 house, that's only $2,000 a year. In a slow market, it's 5% appreciation. That client made $20,000 by owning a home that year. So, the math's right there. Either why try to save $2,000 and lose out on $18,000? Doesn't make any sense. So once they see that it's that simple, then they're like, okay, well that makes sense. I'd rather make $20,000 in appreciation than lose the $2,000 in interest.
Yeah.
And you can write the interest off, so technically the $2,000, you get 24 cents on the dollar, so it's really not $2,000. The loss in interest is only $1,500, let's say. So then the math makes it simple.
Exactly. So that's my point. Right now is still a good time for buyers to buy, right? And sellers really should be hopping on them and selling. So, all right. Blah, blah, blah. Upcoming events. Let me share my screen. We have, of course, this. Oh, where did it go? Here we go. BrentGove.com. Build a $100 million sales team event. Jeremy Larson will be speaking. This event is free. So if you haven't already, it's coming up June 2nd. Hard to believe we're rolling into June here in a couple weeks, right? Half the year. But it's coming up faster than you think, so be sure to register for that. It's going to be at PCAR. And you're thinking, hey, I don't want to build a $100 million, or I don't have a $100 million sales team. What if you pick up one thing that'll help you sell an extra house or two in the course of next year, right? Put an extra 20 grand in your pocket. Highly recommend you attend that. And then,
hey, Johnny.
Yeah, man.
On Jeremy, I think he's only been in real estate for what, 3 years?
That's what I heard too. Yeah, 3 years.
So he is a phenomenal agent, an even better guy. You know, he's definitely going to be able to teach you guys, no matter where you want to be or where you are, you'll be able to pick up some good information and good tricks, you know, for getting listings.
Awesome.
Yeah, if I could, there's Brent just put a video on his media site, brentgove.com, and he promotes it, and he talks about the fact that, hey, if you don't want to build a $100 million sales team, here's why you still should be there. And so it's about a minute 38 seconds, and so if you have people you want to invite there, send it to them.
Where do we go to get that link?
It's on our YouTube channel, and just so you guys know, we're seeing, post-COVID, we're seeing a lot higher attrition at our free events. And so one of the things I would encourage you, send that video out of Brent inviting them.
Yeah.
I do a 1 week out, 3, 2, and day of email to all the registrants, but all of at our national events too, most of our attrition is happening in the guest category. So, I mean, we're here to build, right? We're here to grow and build things. And so, I would encourage you to be taking them out to lunch after the event. Just, if you're going to take them to lunch after the event, take them to sushi, they're going to show up. But, I think, you know, we at our country club event, we were missing 140 people that registered.
Whoa.
So, those were probably all of your guests, right? So I would really encourage you to get creative with that, take them to lunch afterwards, ask them to bring something, you know, do something that gets them there, and then they get there, they get all this great information, and you're the hero. So just a little tip.
And to add on to that, don't rely on Rob's emails on that. You know, make your call to your people that that are showing up the day before, right? Just say, hey, checking in, just making sure that you're going. I know it's going to be packed, so I want to make sure I save you a seat.
Yep. I don't know about you guys, but my biggest takeaway was I want to be Rob's guest because it looks like I'm getting sushi after the.
Yeah, totally.
I want to speak to that.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Aaron.
So, the culture of our meeting here is a real estate agent conversation. It's a production conversation. One of the biggest benefits to being on EXP is the opportunity to build an organization, and so. If you want to create better results in any area of your life, think about the area you want better results in, and then get in a conversation in that area of your life. So if you want better fitness, my question for you would be, well, what fitness conversations are you in? What podcasts are you listening to? Who are you hanging out with? Well, you need an agent attraction conversation to be in the forefront of your mind. So a big reason to go to the event is that's where an agent attraction conversation is happening. So if you go there every month, and then you're going to have a goal to have some guests there, because you should have some agent attraction goals, and that should be in the forefront of your mind. So it's an important pivot. I coach a lot of people in EXP, and a lot of them are focused on production, which is great. But how many of you are wanting to build with agent attraction? You're wanting to do that. So just check in with yourself. Are you in conversations around that? And then that meeting, that monthly meeting, that's a Brent strategy that's beautiful for all of you. So I'd encourage you to be there, and then have a goal to have a guest there, and then do what Rob said and take them to lunch afterwards, and that will really help you guys in your building.
I'll do what Brent always does, or did. I have to organize these for him now at mass scale, but take 40 people to lunch afterwards. So, I mean, we do 6, 7 at shareholders. We'll do 6, 7 lunches and dinners a day with 20, 30. He says he's bringing 6, he brings 30. I'm doing tables, but that's why I fly with Brent, because we have to do that. But that's why he grows. So bring 15, take all 15 to lunch, and that's how it grows.
And even if they don't join, it's a win. Like
Yeah.
you're pouring into their life. You now have a relationship. Maybe they have a listing. Maybe you have a buyer, and you guys can collaborate. Like, there's no way you lose in this scenario. There's no way your business grows by inviting these people to these events. Fair enough. What else do we have? Oh yeah, another event. Let's throw this up here. So here's the link. I'm gonna put that in the chat box, and then we'll also get it out in the meeting notes. So every week we publish the meeting notes. J-Rel, I don't know if J-Rel, are you on the screen? Wave your hand, J-Rel. So when you see those long meeting notes, it's J-Rel that's typing those up for us. So those are published on Brent Gove's team page, and they're published on, for those of you who don't have access to Brent Gove's team page, and you can't figure it out, they're also on the Made for More Agents team page. So that way we have all the notes and all the links and all the contact information of all the speakers. And then also, after each meeting, give us about 24 hours, but after each meeting, you go to YouTube, you go to Brent Gove's page, you will see recaps from other meetings as well. So if you missed a meeting, you want to go back and watch it, you heard it was great, or you can't remember what was talked about, you can always go back and watch the recording. Cool? Last event that I'm going to talk about is coming up, not this Thursday, not today, but next Thursday over at Powerhouse. It's a networking event, think of like a YPN, like a just get to know people. Will be lenders, vendors, title and escrow, small business owners, a lot of great people. It's free and it's at Powerhouse. The reason why I'm going is they have a cigar smoking section, so I'll be there doing that. So maybe we'll get Lexi to go too, huh? Yeah. All right. So that's Powerhouse. The tickets are on Eventbrite, so it's Power Hours at Powerhouse. What else? All right. So I get to present today. This is like absolutely terrifying for me, but you get to.
You do great.
Thank you. All right, yeah. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Talk it up. All right.
It actually is really good. I already saw the slides, and it's great information. So.
Tons of information, and Valerie told me to try and be funny. So if you hear dad jokes, you can blame her. So I'm working on my material. Okay. Thanks, Rob. So let's see if this works. Anybody have any? So this is, you won't have any clue. This is the house that my parents bought when they were first married. Believe it or not, there is a house behind there. My dad planted the trees, put the fence in. The front yard is actually like 2 halves of a heart. He went all in on it, right? He absolutely, yeah. Anyways, they're divorced, so maybe he shouldn't have done the heart, but maybe bought a different house. But that's all besides the point. So guess what they paid for this house? They bought it it's worth about $200, believe it or not, in Kalinga, of all places. That house is probably worth somewhere between $200,000 to $220,000.
Right now?
Right now.
Wow.
When was it bought?
16 for it.
Huh?
16.
When did
He's
they
not
buy
that
it?
old. Yeah, so he bought it in I don't know the exact year, we'll say early to mid 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what he paid for the house?
65.
42, 75,
65.
20. You're the closest. He wishes it was 20. No, they paid $55,000 for this house, right? 55 grand, and guess what the interest rate was on it? 18?
No, it was 12.
What year?
12.
Dude, you have been around for a minute. You're like, I wrote the interest rate. I wrote that loan on that house. That was 11.99, 11.99%, and they were so stoked that they got sub 12s, right? Alicia just showed how we can get a sub 5, right? And our buyers are freaking out. So this was a long time ago. That house is worth a lot of money compared to, relatively speaking. So what's happening in the market? Who knows why we're not headed for a housing bubble? Any things that you're seeing? Because we hear a lot of doom and gloom. I want to hear from somebody something positive why we're not headed for a housing bubble. Alicia?
High demand for housing.
I don't know who you are, but yes, high demand.
Yes.
Joanna.
Low supply.
All the buyers that were outpriced are just hanging there ready to roll.
Low supply. Buyers.
We have a bench of buyers.
Yes, that's a good. High equity Sacramento, still affordable housing compared to Bay Area, etc.
The majority of the financing is very attractive, fixed financing that's already on the homes.
Financing is easy and available.
Not easy and available, the current financing is fixed and not real volatile. So foreclosures.
Oh, Yeah, the low, what was that? Foreclosures and, what was the?
Notice of default.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be there, but it's from employment, not so much that the loan gets accelerated.
Okay, so a lot of positive things. One more. I saw a hand.
Homeowners have high equity.
Pardon?
High equity.
High equity. Yes.
Yes.
That is actually huge.
Solid value position, you bet.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how many of you think your buyers are hearing this when they turn on the news? Right. So what we're going to do is, what we need to do is we need to be the voice of reason and the voice of positivity. So here's some fun slides for you. A lot of these came from Keeping Current Matters. I can give you the slides if you want them. Probably we'll get them included in the meeting notes. So J-Ro, help me remember. Home price appreciation since World War II. You see a dip in 2006. We all know what happened there. Forbearance, that's what I was looking for. Forbearance numbers have gone down since
March of
COVID.
2020.
March of 2020, right? So the market's looking good there. Lending standards, nothing like early 2000s, right? So the red is the product risk and the orange is borrower risk. Both, you hardly see any product risk on this chart. And the borrower risk is lower than it was 20 years ago. So what's ahead for us? Here's what estimated home prices are going to do over the course of 2022. This is, granted, we're talking about we're moving into June. We're almost halfway through, but 9% year-over-year increase for 2022. So if you're feeling it slow down a little bit, that's down from 18% last year. Again, these are national numbers. But what's going to happen in 2023? It's going to half again. And we start getting to more like a normal appreciation market. Okay? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just this is what's going to happen. So when you're talking to your clients and you're like, I'm just going to wait. You have this chart, do a video, send them this text, or just if you show them, they'll believe it better. Because then they can also see down here. It's kind of hard because of the zoom, but it'll source the data, right? So they can go and look it up on their own.
And we don't have to be a member to get that, right? And you just
No. This I think you do if you want to be, but I can give it to you.
okay.
I can give it to you. But the point is, it doesn't pay to wait. Like if you have clients that were waiting for the market to crash, I know people who were waiting since 2013 to get back in the market because they know it's going to crash, right? And here we are a decade later. Okay, home price forecast for 2022. This is a bunch of different people, right? So we said the average is 9 for appreciation this year. The most optimistic, Fannie Mae says it's going to go up by 11%. The most pessimistic poll out there says it's going up by 6%, right? So 6% on a $500,000 home is up, what is that, 30 grand? Am I doing my math right? That's up $30,000 year over year, right? It does not pay to wait. And so, but your clients aren't seeing this. They don't know this. They turn on the news and it's doom and gloom, impending housing crash, right? But what? It's not going to crash. Why? Because inventory is super tight. Like we talked about that when we were taking the list down. Inventory is so low. Yes, this is the national numbers, but we'll get into the more local numbers. So here we go. All of Metro List. This is all of Metro List. You know what a buyer's market is, like the category for a buyer's market. Raise your hand, shout it out. Hermes, you're about to come out of your chair. What's the answer?
So buyer's market is when there is more housing supply than there are buyers.
100%. Does anybody know the
6 to 9 months.
6 to 9? 6 to 9?
6 months.
6 months. So depending on who you talk to, you get a different answer. But generally, you look. Yeah, man.
Oh, never mind. Is that a trends graphic chart?
This is Trend Graphics.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So we pulled this off Trend Graphics. This is another free read. This is free. This is on all of our Metro lists. So does everybody know how to find these charts? Raise your hand if you don't. Be bold if you don't. Okay, so when you log into Metro List and you look at the top, there's like the search bars and stuff. There's a little thing that says Trends. You click on that and it will open this up. Okay. So months of inventory, according to Trend Graphics, a buyer's market is more than 6 months and a seller's market is less than 3. So if you're feeling the market slow down, if you're feeling it change, see, we're only at 1.1 in all of Metro List, 1.1% or 1.1 month of inventory. It's not. For your buyers who are waiting for that market to crash, it's got to get up to 6 months plus, right? So make sure that they know that number, okay? And if you're feeling it though, like it's up 40% month over month. It's up 60% year over year. So if you're feeling a change, it is real, but this is good. This is still really good.
Yeah.
So that's all of MetroList.
We're gonna have to see would that be a 500% increase for it to go to a buyer's market?
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, for the people that have been waiting on it for so long, it's like,
They're mad.
that's great.
They're going to continue to be mad. You know, like you say, hey, I totally get it. You want to wait? We'll start a support group for everybody that's frustrated.
I love it.
You know,
Hilarious.
here's Sac, Placer, and El Dorado counties combined, right? So this isn't all of MetroList. This is just, you know, the big three here. Still under a month's worth of inventory.
Wow.
Now, if you're feeling the change, it's because we're up 50% month over month, 73 year over year. Okay, so if you're feeling a change, it's real. There is a change, but come on, that's not 6 months. That drop is not happening. So here are 2 questions that will change your life. You probably won't like them. I didn't, but they had a positive impact on me. So number 1, if your business is struggling, what is your part in the issue? Are you making the calls? Are you doing the activities? Are you doing the open houses? Are you doing video texts? Are you letting people know about all the great loan products that are still available for clients or that have just become available for clients? So what's your part in your business, right? Identify what you're struggling with and then identify what you're going to do about it. Are you going to start doing open houses? Maybe instead of 1 open house a month, maybe you should try to do 2, like double it, go crazy, right? But what are you going to do about it, okay? Now here's the thing. These are annoying questions, but the reason why I want to throw these up here is because they show that you have control over your life. Your life isn't happening to you, right? You have control over the ship, what's the thing?
Rudder.
Yeah, you're the rudder, right, of your life. Okay. Now for the skeptics, okay, because there's always somebody in the room, and I used to hold on to this, like, oh, well, you don't understand, like interest rates. My buyers, they were in the stock market, and the stock market tanked, and now they can't afford the down payment. I have no control over the stock market, Johnny. I can't do anything about that. Or what would be another thing that you do feel like you don't have control over?
Your job.
Your job, right? You lost a job, right? My clients that lost their job, I don't have control over that, Johnny. What's another one?
My clients, I have one, they're like, we're making monthly, like, money every month, renting the situation they're in, they're like,
Oh, because they're landlords?
no, they're renting somewhere, they just have really good rent.
Oh.
So cheap.
Oh,
It's so
that's
cheap.
gonna go up.
Yeah, so why would they go buy?
Okay, well it's
They're making money every month by not buying a house because the rent is so cheap.
So if they were to
But
go buy the
that's
same house.
That's a backwards way to
Yeah.
but in their mind.
Sure, but in your mind, you can't really control, that's not your control what their rent is, right?
But they're looking at cash on cash monthly, right? They're not getting the appreciation factor.
Their wealth is.
Yeah.
Like, well, here's what you say then.
So for all those people who are running into these things, you may be thinking about this. What are you going to do? What then? Okay, ask yourself, now what? Like, what am I going? This is happening to them, or this is happening to me. Now what? I can't change the situation, but I can pivot. Maybe I can show them how they might be able to make some money off the appreciation, the tax benefits. Maybe help them find another job. Maybe show them, hey, yes, you can't put 20% down on that property because your stock dropped, but Alicia does have a way for you to get in with less than 20% down and not pay mortgage insurance, right? Just because it's happening to you or it's happened to you doesn't mean you don't have control. It's how you respond to what's happening to you. Okay, at the end of the day, it's how you respond. This making sense?
Yep.
Okay. So, there we go. I answered my own question. So the choice is up to you. So recommendations on what not to do. So life's happening, the market is shifting, it's still really good. We showed why it's not projected to go down. But here are some recommendations on what not to do. Okay. Don't go out and buy a car and don't wrap it like this. Right? That's not suggested.
Wow.
Unless you're in a different business, right? That may not. This probably isn't what you should do. But don't wait for lower prices that aren't coming. Don't wait for interest rates that might lower, right? They might lower. Rodney said they might. If they do, let the bank take the risk and refinance when they do. Don't continue to do the same things in the same amounts that brought you success. If you were doing 1 open house a weekend and then you were getting tons of buyers out of it because the open house was packed, well, guess what? Maybe you're only getting 3. 5 buyers through that open house. So you're gonna have to do more open houses to get the results that you need. Don't spend more money on new lead generation tools. Like if you have the capital, that's your call, but I would not, now's not the time to experiment. Now's the time to double down on things that are working and that have worked for you in the past. Okay? So what are some things that you like that you in the room would recommend us not doing? What are some things that you like, hey, that is a waste of money?
Well, first thing is, also don't put your head in the sand.
Yeah.
Do exactly what Johnny is doing right now. Learn the numbers, go do the research, okay, so that you can put your rebuttals, backed by research.
Probably do zero mail marketing.
Zero mail marketing? Zero cost?
No, zero. Like, don't mail anything out to neighborhoods is what I believe.
Okay.
Drop it off in person, but.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That's a Christy Mayshore thing too, right? Like, instead of mailing them the CMA, to drop it off in person, give them a little gift package with it, right?
I'm actually referring to canvassing neighborhoods, but.
Canvassing? So, mailers?
Limit mailers. More in person.
But Johnny, doesn't number 3 and number 4 kind of go against each other? I mean, if the market's shifting, don't you kind of have to try some things that you haven't tried before? Because you need to, in some sense, you need to be shifting your advertising because what worked yesterday might not work today.
So, to a certain degree, absolutely. But like, if you're trying to spend money so you don't have to do the open house, or trying to spend money so you don't have to pick up the phone, that's where you're going to get burned, right? And if you and so I would double down on the things that work, and then out of the profits, lead with revenue, then do the other things.
Barry, YouTube's free,
Yes.
Facebook's free,
That's true.
TikTok's free.
That's
You
true.
do not have to spend more money. You have to spend more time with people and build relationships. Spend more time with whales who can give you channel account. If you land a business owner who has 50 employees and he loves you so much he lets you do a talk for all of his employees free, right? You don't have to spend more money.
So
You just have to spend more time.
You can get time or money, right?
Got it.
It's one or the other.
Pick one.
Choose right now if the market is tightening up, your budget's tightening up, put your time in.
100%. Does that answer it, Gorgeous?
I was gonna say, don't procrastinate.
Yes.
100%.
Things you know
Yeah.
you should do.
Analysis paralysis.
Talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Johnny, don't hang with negative people.
Yes.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Love that.
We're gonna do sad people.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's some things not to do. Fear is the absence of a plan. So if you're feeling scared, if you feel yourself retracted, if you're wondering, what am I going to do? It's maybe because you don't have a plan moving forward. So what are some things that you can do? Recommended actions include, and these are free strategies. I should have thrown YouTube on here. Totally slacked. But instead of doing one open house a month, try to do 4 to 6 open houses a month. Or more, right? As your schedule dictates. Call Spirit, past clients, vendors, get face-to-face, belly-to-belly, eyeball to eyeball, cigar to cigar with people, and make connections. You can go door knocking. You can do email newsletters. Again, this is maybe, depending on the size of your database, at the most like $100. For our database, thousands of people, it probably costs us $100 a month, right? If you have 500 people, or if you have less than 2,000 people in your database, it's free. It's free. Post in Facebook groups. That's an Alicia thing, right? And if you're struggling and you're not on a team and you don't know what to do, join a team, right? My sister went to a prestigious 4-year, graduated hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and she's not using her degree, right? At least when you're on a team, you're earning while you're learning. You can make a 6-figure income learning how to make more money while you're on a team. So don't be afraid to not join a team. What are some other ideas? I know Alicia said YouTube. What are some things you should be doing?
Don't be attached to the outcome, just do the work. And clients smell fear. If you're fearful and you're if that intensity, that fear comes out and people smell it a mile away.
They do. It stinks.
Be consistent.
Consistent?
Choose 2 or 3 things
Yeah.
to go after and go after them.
Absolutely, be consistent. So there's a lot of options up here. You don't have to do all of them. Just do open houses, right? We all know Brent's story. Wildly successful. We're all here because of him, and it was open houses, right? One more thing. What's one more thing from the room?
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Don't quit. Perfect. So thinking about what you're not doing is misery. If you're thinking, I should be doing open houses. If you're thinking, I should be making contacts, right? Then it's misery. Kind of like feeding the baby broccoli, which our kid makes the same face even though.
Where's the picture of JJ?
Yeah, I didn't have permission from the parental guardian.
He looks happy when he's eating.
So I know if you guys have been taking some pictures of the screen, I hope you take a picture of this or write it down. The market is going to discipline those who can't discipline themselves.
Good old Bill.
Good old Bill Pipes. Okay. Can we all agree with this? Like if you're struggling, it's because you're lacking the discipline to do the things. It's not because the market is punishing you. All good? So take massive action, right? This dude's grinding away. You think your job's hard? We put out 5 open house signs. Look at it, he's got 50 chairs. Imagine if those were all open house signs. Take massive action. Remember that progress is happiness. So celebrate the wins. If you're just doing the open house, that's a win. Nobody came through, who cares? Do an open house tomorrow.
Right.
Progress is happiness.
Hey, Johnny.
Yeah.
Can you go back to that take massive action screen? I want to take a picture of that.
The next one, John.
Next one.
That is awesome.
Awesome, thank you.
Take massive action. Progress is happiness. Because this business is tough. This business will chew you up, spit you out, and leave you on the side of the road while somebody goes rolling around the Range Rover right past you. Okay? Progress is happiness. So just celebrate the wins and never give up, never surrender. All right? So that's all I have. I think Brent, you were on the slide. Was this good? Was this helpful for you guys?
Brent's on. I don't know if he's in.
I saw Brent.
I'm here.
I saw him here.
I'm here.
Yay!
Woo! Wow, that was really good, Johnny. Thank you, man. Hey, everyone, how you guys doing? You guys doing good out there? I love all the interaction from everybody. This is a participatory thing. Alicia Wright, I see you on there. Hey, Jarrell, how are you? And Joanna, and I know there's 18 people actually watching virtually, and this will get seen like 500 more times. But Johnny, let's give John and Valerie a hand. And just great information. You know, you become, the more you study the market, the more of a professional you become, the more stuff will just come out of your mouth like, ooh, that was good. I sound amazing. You went to the team meeting and you learned. I just spoke for the beta at EXP. I spoke for a big group of leaders, and I said, you know, I've been pushing them off because it's during the team meeting is when they meet. And I said, you know, I've been running that team meeting since 1999.
Whoa.
20 years of just, this is what I do. Half of the success in life is just showing up. Everyone write this down. You know, I'm a big note taker. Live by your calendar, not your emotions. The market's about the discipline, those that can't discipline themselves. Woo, what a zinger. That's mine. I'm going to be using that one. But so, you know, force yourself to do the uncomfortable. Force yourself to do what you don't want to do so you can live the way you don't want to live. No more financial problems. You got to do it. You got to tackle this. So the question I have for you today is, what does it take to be successful? Man, I want to be successful. I want to become a listing agent. I want to have a team. I want to make not a living at real estate. I want to make a great living. What does it take to be successful? Warren Buffett said this: the best investment you can make is in yourself, right? Everybody wants external success, the home, the car, the travel, money in the bank, peace of mind, nice furniture, whatever. And, but it all starts with internal. You can't have the external until you get the internal. That's why people who win the lottery, they win millions of dollars. I think within 5 years, you go find them, they're totally broke because of the same internal mess that they are. So, work on what, so how do you do that? Well, you go to John Maxwell, you go to 10X, you go to Tony Robbins events, you go to Women's Council of Realtors, NAREP, you go to shareholders, you're just constantly getting around people, going to masterminds in chiseling the stone and making it a beautiful sculpture. That's you. And so, basically there's 3 decisions you have to make. A, what are you going to focus on? What are you going to focus on? You're going to focus on what's wrong or what's right? You're going to focus on what a jerk your spouse is or your significant others and all their problems. And let me list all their problems, because you get more of what you focus on. If you focus on your lack of money, you'll have a lack of money. And what does it mean to you to focus on something? Should you focus on anger and revenge, or on love and peace, and be a peacemaker and be a loving person? And you really got to take control of yourself. It's so easy to react with anger. You've heard the saying, it takes like no muscles to frown. Most people frown or whatever, but smiling, and so if you smile, like right now, just smile, right? Everyone smile. You feel better. You actually feel better if you smile. If you give love, you experience joy. Write that down. If I give love, compliment, I will experience joy. You want dopamine? Give love. Encourage people. Take the time to help someone. Help an old woman across the street. Help someone put groceries in the back of their car. Then mug them. No, I'm just kidding. But help if you want to. I don't know why. I just thought it'd be funny. That wasn't funny. But anyways, but the point is this: if you want to experience love, be love. I don't feel love. I feel lonely. I feel this. I feel that. You're focusing on being lonely. Just if you want to find a friend, it's very difficult. But if you'll just be a friend, they're everywhere. You know what I mean? So go be loving, kind, joy. You write this down. You must, not you can. You must take control of your focus. Again, energy goes to where focus goes, energy flows. And so again, focus. That's why Tony Robbins is always saying gratitude, be grateful. Who do we love? People who are grateful or people who are bitter? A bad state equals a good life. Nope. Bad state equals a bad life. We don't know anyone who had a bad state who had a good life. Man, look at so-and-so. She has the worst state. He has the worst state. But look at their amazing life. No. You know what the truth is? People with a bad state have a sad and tragic life. So how do you change your state? It starts with focus. It starts for making a conscientious effort to focus on being a loving, kind, giving, generous person, and to just give. You don't have to have it. It'll come back to you. That's where the faith comes. But like, okay, I'll give if I get. I'll give if I get. No, just give. Just give. It feels so good to give. And so be an influencer. And I want to say this, the achiever's curse. You know what the achiever's curse is? It's great. If you focus on what you don't have, you'll never be happy. Man, I wish I had a big house. Wish I had a big boat. Wish I had my own private plane. I wish, and it's okay to have goals and dreams and all this, but if you focus on it, I mean, you obsess, I wish I had more money in the bank. You'll never be happy. But if you express love, you will feel love. It's so easy to be joyful now. So let me share something with you. If you focus on the past, do you have any relatives that focus on the past or friends that are living in high school? What they did in high school, what they did in business 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Do you focus on the past, the present, or the future? And I'm very much into goals and business planning, all that. And focusing on the future will give you some joy. But focusing on the present, that's what you focus right now. Like being in this room right now. Learning to have joy in the present. Success is not a place you arrive to. If you're miserable now, you'll be a miserable rich person. You know what I mean? If you don't give now, you won't give while you're rich. Give when you have little. Who's in the Bible? The widow with the 2 mites. It was like 2 pennies. It's all she had, but she gave what she had and she made it into the Bible. And is being very giving, because you take a guy, like if I give $1,000, it's no big deal, right? But if someone who only has 1,000 gives 1,000, that's heroic. Now, if I gave everything I have, which is now a big number, that's pretty awesome. And so, you know what I mean? It's where's your heart in giving? And so really want to challenge you that. So there's more joy in the present. Learn to be happy in the journey, like to love doing what you do today, to feel good that you drank water, that you exercise, that you cold buyers, that you cold sellers, that you did your agent attraction, that you said, okay, who can I pay a compliment to? Like, hey, you're really awesome. Love you. Nope, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, you really thought, you know what? I am so grateful for Manu. I don't even if Manu's in the room there. Is Manu in the room today? She may not be in the room, but she's there a lot. But, you know, if you saw Manu, what kind of compliment could you genuinely pay her about something she did? Or Rodney Rose. Rodney Rose, wave your hand, Rodney. He's right there in the front. There he is. I see him. You got to get to know Rodney Rose. He's one of our preferred lenders, along with Alicia in the back there. Alicia Stearman. Did I say your last name right, Alicia?
You got it. She just stepped out.
She stepped out. Okay, forget Alicia. She's dog beat. She got married, and I think it's Stearman now, right? Right? I always want to say her old maiden name. I got to get Stearman. But Alicia and Rodney are amazing, and you go up to them and tell them what you appreciate about them. Oh, they don't care. Trust me, when someone comes up and says, Barry Mathis, I appreciate how loving and giving you are. He's a bulldog. We know Barry's a bulldog, but I'm telling you, there may not be, and I could get emotional right now. There may not be a kinder, more giving person in the room I'm looking at right now than Barry Mathis, because at 3 a.m. when you got a problem, you call Barry. He's the one who will get out of bed. He will come rent a U-Haul. He will rent a jackhammer. He will figure out a way to solve. He's the most resourceful person I know, one of the most giving people I know. And he's not perfect, and I'm not perfect, and you're not perfect. But is Barry in the room? Is anybody in the room? Barry, is that him far back left corner? Okay, Barry, I love you, and I am grateful that you are one of my best friends.
Me too, Brent. Me too. Wow. I'll send you the check this week.
Anyway. Anyways, so when you express your appreciation for other people, and it's sincere, I know they appreciate it. And Barry and I are close because he's been there for me and I've been there for them. And who are you there for? You know, you think, well, I don't have money. Man, it ain't about money. I mean, sometimes it is, right? But to buy someone groceries or to fix their spare tire, or I got a guy at church, when he smiles, he has no front teeth. I'm going to drop about $12,000 and put in front teeth for him at my dentist. He doesn't know that yet, but I'm going to do it because I can do it. But who can you help? And sometimes it's a hug. Sometimes it's telling them how grateful for you are in your life. Like I just did for Barry. I didn't give him money just now. I gave him something a lot more valuable, my respect, my admiration, you know? And so I'm telling you, you live your days like that and you're a winner, baby. And you'll feel joy and peace and love like you've never experienced before. So here's a couple things I want to give you. What's important are two things: hunger and energy. I can't teach you hunger, man. If you're not hungry for a better life, to create a life of significance, write that down. When I say better life, I'm not talking about a mansion and a yacht and a jet. Even though I would like to buy a jet someday, if it's not my focus, it doesn't, it's more of a convenience thing like Uber, you know, but it doesn't own me. What owns me is love. What owns me is making a difference in other people's life. But being a man, you being a woman, you were created in the image of God to do amazing. That's what owns me. And I know I'm called to do amazing things in this world, that I'm answering that call. And so are you. It's not my call, it's your call. It's your call to step up. God has you living in that apartment complex, in that home, in that neighborhood, on that court, living at a friend's house in their bedroom, because maybe you're just in a situation where you're staying with someone. But God has you there How can you be a shining light? Whose life? There's people around you that aren't around me and I can't touch them. I can't love them. I can't write them a note, express my gratitude. I can't fix their flat tire. I can't fix their teeth. I don't know them, but you do. And I get it. Maybe you can't afford to spend 10 grand on someone's teeth right now or 12 grand, but you know what? What can you do? Sometimes you're buying them some groceries. I remember when I was 19, I was poor and eating fried egg sandwiches and fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because that's all we had was peanut butter, jelly, eggs, and wheat bread and butter. That's all we ever ate. But I bought 2 bags of groceries for a guy who was living in the basement of a liquor store with a shotgun because he had nowhere to stay. And Ray's Liquors in Chico said, if you live in our basement and guard 40 kegs of beer and all this alcohol and liquor, that if someone broke the back door and some fraternity came and emptied us out, would be $100,000. You live here with the shotgun. Here's a cot. You stay for free, and you got free housing. And he was so poor. I bought him 2 bags of groceries when I was poor. You know what a bag of groceries could do to somebody who has no food to eat? It makes me emotional just thinking about it. So you don't have to have $1,000 or $1 million. Sometimes you could, Brent, I need the bag of groceries. Do you even know who needs a bag of groceries around you? And then maybe you could be the prince for them, but you could still, even if you need the bag of groceries, you could give someone a hug. You could speak a word. The tongue has the power of life and death. Pung, that's power in tongue, pung. The tongue has the power of life and death. You speak life, like when nobody cares. Trust me, people care. They appreciate it when you say thank you. But hunger and energy, are you hungry for change? And then you put energy into it. Johnny just said progress is happiness. I saw it on the slide. And that is correct. If you take one step towards doing something you know you need to be doing, you will be happy. I'm going to start focusing on what I'm grateful for. And you just start telling people what you're grateful for. You're like, I feel better. There it is. It's success is not a destination. You must find it today. It's a journey. And then you'll be happy when you get there instead of a miserable rich person. There was a guy in Grass Valley who was completely suicidal. He was living on 30 acres with a 20,000 square foot home and nice cars, and he'd gotten divorced. He was there alone. His kids was gone. He was gone. And we had to talk him off the ledge. It was a listing we had, completely, utterly miserable, owned his place outright, had millions of dollars. Money is not the answer to your joy and peace. So, struggle on that a little bit. There's another story of in the stock market crash of 1929. It was 1929. And this guy I think he lost $57 million. You know how much money that was in 1929? And he's on like the 67th floor of a skyscraper in New York City. True story. And Black Friday hit and the stock market crashed. He lost 57 million. And he literally got up from his desk, went to the hallway, ran as fast as he could, and ran right through the plate glass, the heavy glass there in this skyscraper in New York City, and fell to his death. It's a sad, tragic story, but what's sadder, he had 57 million left. It was only half of his fortune he lost that day. So where is your heart? Where is it? In your stuff? Is it in your money, or is it in your children and the people you love and your friends and making a difference? You are called to do great things in this world, but the enemy is the enemy. You don't believe it. But you can be a Martin Luther King. You can be a Mother Teresa. What did she do? She scooped up dead and decaying people off the streets of Calcutta, and she was knighted by the Queen of England. All she did was care for people who were dying. Everyone else stepped over the bodies and kept going. Not Mother Teresa. I've been to dinner in downtown Sacramento. I've seen some homeless people. I've walked by them. I didn't do what Mother Teresa did. I have a burden for the homeless. I don't know how to fix it either, but I will be a part of the solution. I don't know how, I don't know when and where, but I will be a part of that solution. How about you? Are we going to step over hurt people? That's somebody, that's a human being there. No different than anyone in this room. Yeah, maybe they made some bad choices. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they fell in hard times. But all it takes for evil to prevail in this world is for good men and good women to do nothing. And I'm talking to a room full of good men and good women, and you will do something. You step up today and help someone. And so as I wrap this up, I just want to say this: the energy you put out there determines your relationships. If you have bad relationships, you're not putting energy into them. Energy, what kind of energy? Love, being present, helping them, going the extra mile. For you men, do you open the door for your sweetheart for your wife? Do you go around and open the door? No, I don't do that. I get in, she gets in. She can get her own damn door. Open the door. Teach people how to be a gentleman. Do you take people's car? Come on, chivalry. Energy is the key to success. Energy is the key to success. Step up, focus, and create a movement, and that'll help your state and energy and create endorphins as your. It's not magic, it's movement. I'll say it again. Write that down. It's not magic, it's movement. Start moving towards farming or door knocking or calling the expireds or doing open houses. Move, get out there and do it. Get out there and get busy. It is not magic. It's not hocus pocus. It's movement. Get out there and start moving. And eventually you will catch your goals and dreams. Eventually you'll become a great buyer's agent. And then you'll transition to becoming a great listing agent. And then you'll transition to having a team. And then I'll figure out agent attraction. You will. It's not a mystery. It's not for somebody else. It is for you, because you can love, you can give. So I'll say this: we are not all equal as we are equal as souls, but we are not all equal in the marketplace. I'll say it again: we are all equal as souls, but we are not all equal in the marketplace. Why do people do better than you? Because they bring more value and they bring energy and motion, and they've done more of the numbers, and they figured out how to say what to say, when to say it, and how to say it through failure. So as I wrap this up today, I just want to say this: you will be rewarded in public for what you do in private. Write that down. Say, I will be rewarded in public for what I do in private. It's you when you made those calls. It was me 5.5 years ago sitting in a conference room when Stroop would throw me in there and shut the door, and he said, dang it, make your calls. Well, I don't have anybody. Get an assistant. Get someone who says, pick up your list, and then go into there and check off that list. Check. I can't see it. And make the calls. And you do this. You live by your calendar. 2 to 5 p.m. Fridays. Maybe it's 9 to noon Wednesdays. Maybe it's 5 to 8 Sundays, or 6 to 9 Sundays. And you do it. There were times I didn't want to do it. Of course I didn't want to do it. But I'm not a teenager. I'm not a child anymore. I'm a man. And you're a woman. And you're a man. And you come up with a plan and you execute that plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. No one could stop a man with the plan, because no one has a plan to stop him. No one could stop a woman with the plan, because no one has a plan to stop her. There's no one planning your demise, but are you planning your success? Are you backing it up with your feet, with your action? So I love you guys. I went 5 minutes over. I apologize, but I hope this was encouraging and good today. Give it back to you, Johnny. Thanks, everyone. I love you from Puerto Rico. Bye.
Thanks, Brent.
Thanks,
all right,
Brent.
That's all we have today. Everybody, see you next Thursday. Take care. See you, Brent.
Bye, Johnny. Love you, man. See you guys.